Hello. Today we're going to be looking at Starnett. It is a game changer if you are a PixInsight user. So let's take a look at it. Hello, folks. Welcome to the Night Sky Imaging YouTube channel. As I mentioned, we're going to be looking at Starnett. This is Starnett's been around for a while, but it hasn't been a part of the PixInsight software until about 2 upgrades ago. But now it's included in the processes. So let's go take a look at it. And when I say it's a game changer, for me, it's been every bit of what I hoped it could be. So let me share my screen. We'll head over to PixInsight and we'll get started. Move some windows around here. Up until now, I've combined the art red, the hydrogen alpha, the green, and the blue channel into this image. And then I ran some pixel math to combine the hydrogen alpha in a little different way. But let me close that out. Then I ran the dynamic background extractor. And then finally I ran the multilinear transform tool. Then I'm going to go ahead and click delete this. I stretched. My favorite process for stretching is the photometric calibration, which can be found under process, all processes, and just head on down to photometric calibration. I do recommend that if you do decide to use this software, that you add your own catalogs to your hard drive. It takes up some hard drive space, but if you don't, it'll reach out on the internet to different databases. This one is the one that comes up by default, and it will find the information that it needs from these online servers, but database servers. But you can go to PixInsight in its software, and you can download these catalogs, and you just take your APAS catalog, hit your wrench, go find it wherever you stored it, add it to, you want to download both of these catalogs, 10 and 9, and then you want your Gaia catalogs located too, and they're up here with process, all processes, your Gaia catalogs, and do the same thing. Click on your wrench and add the different catalogs that PixInsight offers for EDR3 and EDR2. So once you're done, these catalogs then reside on your hard drive, and this process goes much faster. But I'm going to calibrate using this tool right here. Let me bring up, this has not been color calibrated to, but I'm going to go to Script, Easy Processing Suite, and I'm going to try to get it. I'm going to go to Easy Soft Stretch, and here we go. And I'm going to leave everything set at default, and I'm going to click Run, and the image is now stretched. So would I have done things differently had I done a manual stretch? I know I would have. I would have brought the colors and the luminosity up a notch, but we're going to use this just as it was stretched by the Easy Script. So what I want to do now is I want to take the stars, remove them, and from the nebula, Bernard 33, and I want to work on the nebula independent of the stars. There's a lot of advantages to doing that. To start out with, the sharpening and or the noise reduction that you apply to the nebula, for example, isn't going to affect your stars, and vice versa. But is as important, the tweaks you're going to make to your nebula won't run a risk of oversaturating your stars or damaging the color. And so you can work on your stars separate, and then at the conclusion of doing the work on both nebula and stars, you can then use pixel math to add them back to each other, or you can blend them together in Photoshop. I'm going to use pixel math, but we can show you both. So we're going to bring up Starnett, and you can go to Process, All Processes, and head down here towards the bottom, and there's Starnett. And we want to create a star mass, so I want to check that. Also, since I have now ran the EZ stretch, I want to add that and save that, and I'm going to put that back over here. These are all the steps that I have used along the way, and each step represents a process. I then make a clone, and I work on the clone, and we have the clone here. Actually, I'm going to make another copy of it, because this is going to actually, I'm going to call this nonlinear, and because that is exactly what I have, is a nonlinear image, and I want to take that and tuck it down here. And when I pull the stars out, then this is just going to be nebula. So let's go ahead and take our script. By the way, when you open this up, if you don't have these weights populated, you're going to need to find those on your InPix Insight in the bin, I think is probably where they're located. If not, go onto the website and download these weights, and then you'll have to hit the wrench and find out where they are on your computer, and once you find them out, they're not there, but once you find it out, load them. But it should come already populated. And with that being said, let's run this by taking the process triangle and just drop it on our image. It's going to take a few seconds. Actually, it's going to take about 3 or 4 minutes to do this, so I'll pause and be back with you. Okay, it's finished pulling the stars out of the image. And by the way, I'm running Starnett++. I do not have Starnett 2, version 2 installed because it's not ready for the Mac, and I use Macs. So if you're a Windows user, then you need to go ahead and download and install the Starnett 2 version, because I understand it does even an improved job of removing the stars. So you can see that although the stars have removed, we've got a lot of remnants, and they carry with them a lot of color. So it's a bit of a tedious process, but I want to get rid of those. So the first thing I'm going to do, so that should I screw this up, I won't have to go back and wait on Starnett to perform another run. I'm going to make a copy, and I'm going to save this, and I'm going to make a copy. Tell you what I'm going to do before I'm going to just go ahead and delete that. I'm going to change the name of this to Nebula Starless Horsehead, and I'm going to make a copy of that, and then I'm going to put this up in the corner because we'll be returning, and I'm going to call this, instead of star mask, we're just going to call this stars. And with the horse head. And we'll make a copy of this as well, and we'll put these up here. These are our originals, and we can come back and work on those should we need to. So for the time being, we do not need Starnett again. I'll bring those down here, and let's start working on this. The first thing I will do is a rule. I'll bring up the curves transformation tool, and you go to process, all processes. Well, went too far. And curves transformation. By the way, I have all of these processes saved on my desktop because I use them over and over again. And here's the curves down here. So what I want to do though is I want to add some more contrast to this. I'm going to create a real-time preview by clicking this little circle, and I'm going to work on this before I actually click the apply global. So what I want to do is I want to kind of anchor this and bring up some of the brightness, but not too much. That's probably where I want to go, and I'm going to apply this and close it out, and I'll close out my real-time preview. Now you can really see the stars that were not removed, and there's a couple of ways that you can go ahead and remove them. It's a bit of a chore, but it's worth it. And one way is you can use the clone stamp tool. Go to process, all processes, and go to clone stamp. I also have that right over here, process saved. Matters not whether you do this or not. And I need to select reset this and set a radius, and I'm going to set one of say 50 pixels, and then I'm going to hold down the command key and click right here, and then drag this over on top and click. And what it will do is it will put on top of your star this area of the sky. I'm going to lower my radius to about 20 pixels, and that looks good. Now I'm going to hold down my command key and set another click right here, and then on your computer it's going to be control. On mine it's command, and I'll just leave the anchor point and where it is, and I'll hit a bunch of these stars, and this is one way to do it. But now I got a problem because I have a huge remnant of a star here that I want to get rid of, and I have found that the clone stamp tool is good. It's okay for the smaller stars like here. It's not okay for some of the larger stars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run through these, and we'll put you on pause, and when I'm done we're going to take this into Photoshop where we'll finish managing this nebula. Okay, I have finished removing stars with the exception of this one, remnant, this one, and this is fine. There's one right here, and I have found using the clone stamp tool for the larger areas of where you have a bloated star, it doesn't work well. And so for that reason I'm going to take this image into Photoshop and finish that process. Before you do that, when you run this tool, make sure that you click execute, otherwise all your stars will reappear. So I'm going to click execute, and now it has permanently removed those stars. So we can close this out. I want to save this image, and I will save it, let's go to February. Let's see, this is, I took this with the edge, and it's the horse head with the edge. There we go. And let's call this, I've already done this, but let's call this file Nebula star list IC 434, and we're going to make this a TIFF file so I can open it in Photoshop and save it. I'm going to make it 16-bit for Photoshop. We're going to do a lot more work while we're in Photoshop too. So it's been done. So let's head over to Photoshop. I've been working on some images I took of the sun. Let's go to Open, and Astro 4, February, and we need horse head taken with the, that's wide field right here, nope, here, and Nebula Starless 434. Okay, now what I want to do now is I want to remove this area and this area and this area and this one right here. So I'm going to go over here to the patch tool, and I'm just going to draw a pretty large circle around this and drag it right over here, and I see an area here, and I'm going to drag it there. This will be a little more of a challenge because I want to keep the same structure, so I'm going to drag it right there, and right here, same thing. I don't want to whoop. Let's try too high right there. This one's a little easier because we're going from dark to dark, and there's one down here, and so let's deselect, and that's pretty much what we want. But while we're here, I use the Nik software plugin suite. It has a panel that's convenient for me, but I can go to the filter and go down to the Nik collection and open them up here as well. So I'm going to bring up Vivesa. It's going to create a new layer with a layer mask. And what I want to do is I want to take right down here where it says control point, I'm going to put a control point right here and delete that one and make it a little bigger. I want to put it on the red, and then I want to scroll down here and just work selectively. I want to raise the structure of this area some, not too much. I want to raise the contrast some, and I want to raise the brightness of this some, not that much. And then I'm going to hold down the Option key, and I'm going to drag this over here to this side and do the same thing. I'm going to bring it up here and do the same thing. I know I don't like that. I don't want to put structure there, and I don't want to put structure there. I actually want that to be smoother. So let's see, let's create another control point, and let's put that here. Let's make it a little smaller, and let's go down here to where it has contrast. We're actually going to drag that to negative contrast and negative structure. So make it a little more wispy looking. Let's do brighten it up just a tad. And then let's bring this over to areas of the nebula. Okay. And let's apply that. And there's the after, before, after, before, after. I want to bring back Vivesa again, create a new layer and a new layer mask. I should have done this when I had it open before. I'm going to open up another control point. I'm going to put it on this blue and make it a little smaller, and I'm going to go down to structure, add a little structure to it, add a little contrast to it, and I'm going to rather than add blue, I'm going to take the warmth slider and move it to the left a little bit. And that's all we're doing. And so we affected that. Let's see the before, after, before, after, before, after. Okay, I like it. Is there anything else I want to do in Photoshop? I don't think so. Well, maybe. Let's zoom in. Yeah, let's zoom back out. Let's do some selective noise reduction. I'm going to go up here to my lasso tool, and I'm going to just kind of come across this part of the image. I don't want to get into the structure, and I don't want to do that. Let's back that up. Let's do this again. I can't do the lasso. Deselect. The way my mouse is. That's fine. Then I'm going to go to Filter, Topaz, and I'm going to run I'm going to run Denoise 6, not the AI. And I'm going to bring it up to about 10. I'm going to leave it right there. It's at 14. I'm going to apply that. Okay, we can deselect that. Let me zoom in. Yeah. there's some wispiness in this nebulosity up here, and I just wanted to be able to pull that out without also bringing the noise out. So I wanted to blur it some with that noise reduction. And so let's flatten these layers. Go to Layer, flatten the layer. Let's save this image, and it will write over the other image. Let's go back to PixInsight. Let's put this clone up here and bring up the uh, 434. This one here. Now better look. Horsehead. And we want that one. Okay, so here is our improved nebula. I might want to bring up the histogram transformation tool, and let's make sure we've got Nebula IC 434. Let's click on a real-time preview, and okay, I may just drag this up a little and this down a little and this up a little more and the black point down a little more and apply that. Okay, so for the post part, we're kind of finished with this. Probably aren't, because I see areas down here I should have worked on in Vivesa, in PixInsight. But let's go to our stars now and bring those up. And the only thing I'm going to do with my stars is I'm going to take the SCNR and remove the green that's in them from them. That's it. I might bring up curves. I probably wouldn't, but I'll show you the possibilities here. Bring up curves and just make sure you've got RGBK and just bring them up a little bit. You can overdo this and apply that. And get rid of the real-time preview. Now let's do this. Let's add them back together again. Tell you what, I'm not liking this down here. Let's bring up curves again. Let's anchor about right there, and let's bring our blacks down a little. That's not looking good. That's better. All right. Okay, we're done with the nebula. I thought I was a while ago, but I wasn't. And so let's get rid of this real-time preview. And now we're going to go to Process, All Processes, and we're going to bring up Pixel Math. And what we're going to do, it's already populated with blue. We're going to click on, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And let's get rid of that. We're going to bring up Expression Editor. Cancel. We're going to have a single expression. Make sure you click single expression. Now we're going to bring up the Expression Editor. And the name of this is Nebula Starless IC 434. So I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to add that plus sign to my stars, and I forgot what I named them. We'll find it here. Well, let's close it and come back. I don't know what I named them. We're going to find that out first. Stars Horsehead. Okay, that's what we want. So let's go back to Pixel Math. I already have it over here, so I'm going to just bring it up. And single expression editor. I'm having a hard time talking. And we're going to go to our target, hit plus, and we're going to go down to Starless Horsehead, and we're just going to add those two together. Click OK, and then we're going to go down here. We want to replace the target. We want to create a new image. We don't want to replace the target. We want to create a new image, and we want the color space to be RGB. And then we'll just click on, drag this. Now what did I do wrong? We're going to find out. What image did we got? The Nebula Starless IC 434, and we've got the Stars dash Horsehead. Nope, we don't. So we made a boo-boo here, so let's clear out this, and we're going to get it right this time. We're going to go to our expression editor, and we're going to find the Starless, Stars, not Starless, Stars Horsehead. That's that. All right, now we're going to add that to, it's easier to just put stars and then nebula, and it's easier to find them. So keep the names simple, and then we want to go to, let's find the other one, Nebula Starless IC 435. Okay. All right, that should do it. Let's close that out, and let's just drag this over. Okay, close this out, and voila, you now have had a chance to work on both your nebula and your stars independent of one another. You could have spent a whole lot more time getting it the way you like it, but this it's just a game changer for me, because I can, as I mentioned earlier, I can make the tweaks I want in the nebula without messing up my stars and vice versa. So all that being said, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I appreciate it. You'll be notified the next time that I either go live or I put another video tutorial or something together. Talk to you later. Have a good week.